Okay, good morning class. I'm Dr. Ashwini Katule. I'm assistant professor in community medicine department, and today we will discuss iron, nutritional anemia and iron deficiency anemia. Nutrition anemia term is very common, and we all know that what is meant by anemia. खून की कमी. In general term, we use this as a खून की कमी. So we will discuss about it. What is nutritional anemia? What is causes of nutritional anemia, and what is iron deficiency anemia, and what are the causes of that, and how India or how world is going to deal with that. So for our growth and development on repair system and regulation of vital body, there is some elements are required. In some elements are required in major quantity, some are required in minor quantity, or trace element kind of things. So in major quantity, calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium and magnesium kind of elements are very much required for vital body functioning, and for trace elements are iron, iodine, fluorine, zinc, copper and magnesium are required for body functioning. All these are elements like we discuss food compound or components, and macronutrients and micronutrients. All these are very essential to for day-to-day functioning of our body, as well as whatever micronutrients are there, they are also essential in major and minor amount. Such as iron is very essential component for various functioning of body. Likewise, iodine, fluorine, zinc, copper and magnesium are also required. Other than this, so many other micro nutrients are there, or trace elements are there, which are very important for day-to-day activities, and for it act as a catalyst, it act as a minor component or enzyme form, but they are required for day-to-day function of the body. So now today's topic is related to iron, so thoroughly we will discuss iron. Iron is a great importance for human body, because whatever RBCs are there, they are mostly having iron in that for it is required. RBC, we all know, it is required for oxygen carrying from here to there in all over the body. So iron requirement is very essential in body. It is like that in adult human body contain between 3.34 gram of iron in a whole body, and in which 60 to 70% it is present in a blood only. After that, it's stored in liver and spleen and others, or in bone marrow also, but mostly 60 to 70% iron is present in blood only. And 1 gram of hemoglobin contains 3.4 milligram of iron. It is a huge amount. Likewise, as you can see, it is in micrograms, but that microgram is very essential for our body. That is, 1 gram of hemoglobin contains 3.4 milligram of iron. Now, what are the functions of iron? There are numerous functions of iron in our body. So it is required, as we all know, as you are in first year MBBS, whatever hemoglobin formation, cycle of hemoglobin, and everything you all know. You discuss in in that biochemistry also. It is very well required for hemoglobin formation. We already discussed it. 1 gram of hemoglobin contains 3.34 milligram of iron. So for main and major function of iron is hemoglobin formation. Without hemoglobin formation, we can't stay as long in the life. So hemoglobin formation is the main function of iron. Then after that, brain development and functioning, catabolism system of brain is required iron, that we will discuss further. So brain development, in fetal brain development also, and in infancy and in adolescent period also. For brain development and functioning of brain, iron is very much required. In infancy or in intrauterine period, if iron deficiency is there, if mother is suffering from iron deficiency, so their intrauterine growth retardation started, and it directly affect to the body of baby, and so many other deformities happen because of iron deficiency in the fetus or in infancy. For regulation of body temperature also, iron required. Day-to-day muscular activities, stretching of muscles and catabolism system of muscles required iron for their functioning, proper functioning. Catamaline metabolism is required, also required iron, and our immune system is also required iron. Lack of iron deficiency, if directly or indirectly affect the immune system, it deteriorate the T cell, and antibody, it deteriorate the antibody production if iron deficiency is there. So for our immune system also iron is required. So likewise in all system we required iron for our day-to-day activities. So other than that, the compound of myoglobin, cytochromes and catalase action are required also iron. Oxygen transport system, as it is hemoglobin, iron is present in RBCs, red blood cells, and their main function is transport of oxygen to various part of body. So iron is required for oxygen transport also. In respiratory system also it is having major role. So in lungs also they are playing vital roles, and various other reactions also required RBCs iron. So iron is very important for our day-to-day life. It is in very less amount is required, but that is also we are deficient of that quantity also. That means our food system, whatever food we are taking, that is not at all sufficient, or not all at optimum level of micronutrient, because of all fertilizer use, that production level, deterioration of production level, so that all these micronutrients are deficient in our daily routine. Now, what are the sources of iron? There are two types of iron, that is heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron mostly present in meat, liver, poultry, fishes and breast milk. Breast milk contain very less amount of iron, but other than this, non-vegetarian products like liver, meat, poultry, fishes, everything contain good source of, it is a good source of iron. The amount of iron is very much, and the liver is major source of iron, because all the iron content are stored in liver. So if you are eating non-vegetarian, especially liver, that fulfill your and restore the iron content in your body. Non-heme iron is cereals, green leafy vegetable, legume, nuts, oils, jaggery and dry fruits also. But this contain very less amount of iron, and bioavailability of this iron in non-heme products are very less. So whatever non-heme iron products we are consuming, less number of iron is going to absorb in our body. That is also one of the cause for anemia, because phytates and oxalates are present in that kind of food like non-heme iron. Phytates and oxalates decrease absorption of iron, and bioavailability of all these non-heme item is very less. So it is one of the factor for anemia also, and decreased absorption of iron because of all phytates and oxalate, tannic acid, phosphate. All these items are present in body that deteriorate the absorption of iron in the body. So while eating food content, we have to be very sure which product we have to eat and which we have to exclude. So all these are the sources for iron. Now absorption, coming to the absorption. Absorption, iron mostly absorbed in upper small intestine and duodenum part. It is very villi or present there, and most of the iron is absorbed in this area only. If we have to increase our absorption, we have to reduce the bioavailability of all the products. So less than 5% absorb, mostly whatever iron we are consuming, in that less than 5% of iron is absorbed in our body. 5% or mostly 10% is going to absorb in our body. Rest iron is excreted. So we have to take huge amount of iron, so that at least 10% from that it can be absorbed in our intestine, and that can be used for the body functioning. And whatever iron is absorbed, that is transported as a plasma ferritin and stored in liver, bone marrow and kidney in the body. So major storage area is liver and bone marrow. After that, spleen and kidney is second for the storage of the iron. All this is about absorption and storage of the iron. Then coming to the loss, whatever amount of iron we are taking, it's not like that ki whole iron is going to absorb in our body and it's stored in the body. Whatever amount we are taking, in that some amount is already going to loss through normal physiological process or through breakdown process. So 1 to 2 milligram in routine menstruating women menstruation, 1 to 2 milligram of hemoglobin is going to loss in a woman, or in those women who is having menstruation problem. This means polymenorrhagia and heavy bleeding. So more number of iron is going to loss through this procedure. Hemorrhoids, like piles kind of thing, if the patient is having hemorrhoids, then huge amount of iron loss is there. So that so anemia is very common in this kind of patient. Then through urine, through normal sweat, through bile and through other cells also, normal breakdown of RBCs are there, and some amount of iron is going to reuse and some is thrown to the thrown out of the body. So all these are the normal mechanism of our body, in which some amount of iron is going to loss in every day in routine life. Then iron deficiency, there are so many other factors are there from where deficiency can occur. In that, if there are three main stages of iron deficiency. Let me clear first this, ki there are three main stages: first stage, second stage and third stage. First stage means it is starting of iron deficiency, in that no sign and symptoms has occurred. No patient will come in this first stage, because patient feel completely normal. In latent phase or intermediate iron deficiency phase, it is a second phase in which 30% iron storage of our body is already compromise. So breathlessness, weakness, fatigue, irritability, and irregular menstruation, um, um, long sleeps, and mental morbidities are there. So all these conditions happen in this stage because of a deprivation of iron storage. So most of the patient coming in this stage that I am not feeling well because I am feeling very lethargic, very tired, very sleepy, very irritable, and my mental status is not, I am having mood swings also. So we have to be very careful about this key. This patient is of can be the patient of iron deficiency also. Don't label that key he is having some mental problem. We can if we are giving iron folic acid supplementation to this patient, or we have to test for TSH level also, so we can identify ki this is the stage 2 iron deficiency also, if that hemoglobin levels can find out, we can find out. So and third stage is late stage, in that most of the 50% iron storage is already compromised, and we have to give blood transfusion or intravenous injections to come back to the patient to the normal. So these are the stages for iron deficiency. We can means for the anemia. So mostly patient coming in second stage, that is latent iron deficiency stage or intermittent stage. It is widely prevalent stage in India, and you can't imagine that is 60 to 80% prevalence is having of iron deficiency anemia in adolescent girl also, or in adolescent male and female also in India. If and other than this, many reasons are there to decrease storage. One is low, poor intake of good quality food is there. Second is impaired hemoglobin synthesis. If hemoglobin synthesis is not proper, it can also harm the iron storage also. It can lead to the iron deficiency anemia also. Nutritional anemia is also one of the factor for the iron deficiency anemia. If cell mediated immunity is not proper, that can also lead to the iron deficiency anemia, and it can cause reduced resistance to the infection, and that vicious cycle is goes on. Then if patient is having nutritional anemia, it automatically suffer to the iron deficiency anemia. Their immune system is going to lacking, all the brain system neurological signs symptoms they give. Then automatically malnutrition happens. Malnutrition cause most of the that patient suffer from most of the infection because of lack of immunity, and again anemia or nutritional anemia or malnutrition happen to the that patient. That is a vicious cycle which goes on if we untreat this patient. So treatment of anemia is very much required to break this vicious cycle. So all this is about iron deficiency anemia. This is the normal procedure, normal cycle, how erythropoiesis system is goes, and in that iron is playing very vital role. And this is cognitive development and neurological functioning of the brain, in which iron is also playing very vital role for maintaining the brain functioning. And as we already talked, iron is required for brain development. It is located, iron mainly located in cytochromes and mitochondria in the brain. So their role is very vital. So iron is very essential. If iron deficiency is there in first stage or second stage, it is easily irreversible. We can oral tablets is sufficient, or oral dose is sufficient to reversible this cycle, or to cut down this iron deficiency. And early and timely prevention of iron deficiency is essential for optimized brain functioning. for fetus or for infancy or for adolescent, that early detection of anemia is very important, because whatever growth and development of our body and brain is there, that is occur in first 5 years, and then after in adolescent period. So if we detect this anemia in that period only, then it is very that we can, it can be whatever body loss is there, that can be reversible. So early detection of anemia is very much required. Then all neurological manifestation of iron deficiency in infancy and in children, that it influence the respiratory pattern. If anemia, a patient is suffering or baby suffering from anemia, their respiratory pattern is going to alter. Then many sign and symptoms are also, breath holding spells are there, their alert system is deteriorate, their activity is going to deteriorate, and their milestone, whatever milestones are present, means in this month this much activity baby should achieve, that is goes to deteriorate. So early detection of iron deficiency anemia or nutritional anemia we have to catch. Their behavior and non-cognitive disturbance and attention alternation are common in post-infancy in iron deficiency anemia. They're all cognitive disturbance and attention alternation, means in early 5 years period are all disturbed because of iron deficiency anemia. So we have, and this is very easy to treat also, easy to diagnose also, just by taking hemoglobin or routine hemoglobin, you can easily identify the patient of anemia, and you can easily treat this patient, and all the medicines are required for anemia are free in the government hospitals. So it is very easy to treat and easy to detect this iron deficiency anemia. Why iron deficiency anemia is so common in adolescent? So many reasons are there, especially in females, and so many programs are going on related to females or adolescent male and female, because in adolescency is a period in which whatever amount of food we have to take much more amount of food, because whatever amount of food is we are taking, that is the spurious growth period in which sudden growth or upright growth of everything is happen. Hormonal system is going to develop, bone skeleton system is going to develop, whatever organs, whatever hormones are there, they are going to optimum level. So demand of our body is going to increase, and because iron is already having very poor bioavailability, so whatever food is that adolescent is taking, only 10% or 5% is going to absorb in the body. And what that quality of food is also matter. If patient is having already parasitic infection like hookworm kind of infection or intestinal worm, that is also deteriorate the iron absorption. And if patient that iron absorption deteriorate, nutritional content absorption is also deteriorate, and again reinfection, that vicious cycle against that, that malnutrition against that, infection, then weakness, then again this vicious cycle starts, and more loss of during first 2 or 3 years when menstruation start, there is more loss of blood, their irregular cycles are also there, and more loss of blood is also there. Because of that also iron loss through the body. So all these are the reason in which adolescent is having more demand of iron in their body. So during health education, if we are giving health education, school health education or awareness campaign, we have to target some population like ANC mother, pregnant women, lactating women, and adolescent girl, and infancy period or early first 5 years child. We have to target specially because they want more demand, they want more nutritional, they have more nutritional demand, and we have to guide them in a proper direction what to eat and what we shouldn't. So this is very required for health awareness campaign. And how we can prevent that? By simple giving awareness or education to all the people, whatever our target group, like NC mothers, lactating mothers, adolescent girls or adolescent boys, or in children's, mainly children's, those are required more focus. We can treat it by giving simple medicines and folic acid supplementation, daily supplementation or weekly supplementation, and vitamin C and albendazole dose for the worm infestation, so that whatever iron they are taking, more and more content should absorb in their body. Proper sanitation and hygiene, that is also required. And food fortification, we have Indian government set some food fortification guideline for iron also, so that is also required. So all these preventive measure if we are taking, we can deal anemia in an easy way. Now how will you diagnose anemia? This is very easy, by doing the hemoglobin test only, and this is the normal range of hemoglobin. So it is very cheap, easy, and less time is required to identify, to do this test, and results are we get results very easily. So for adult male, 13 milligram per dl is required as a for diagnostic criteria. For non-pregnant women, adult non-pregnant women is 12 gram per dl. For adult pregnant women, 11 gram is the borderline. For children 6 months to 6 year, 11 gram, more than 11 gram is required. And for children, more than 12 to 14 gram is required to diagnose the anemia. Then all these signs we can diagnose the anemia, like spoon nails, that soft nails that look scoop out, means that scooping of the nails are there, depression on the nail bed or nails are there, we can easily diagnose from that the patient is having anemia. Apart from that spooning of nails, color of nails, palm, tongue, oral mucosa also, and lower palpebral conjunctiva are the sites to diagnose the anemia. If that redness and pink coloration is not there, means patient is coming with pale color or discoloration of palm, nail bed or lower palpebral conjunctiva, we can easily diagnose that this is the patient of anemia also, if we don't have any clinical facilities. This is the spoon nails. We can easily identify that the depression on the nails, that water drop can easily rest on that. This is one more sign is there for anemia, chylonychia, that is more severe form of spoon nails, that soft nails that look scoop out. Depression is usually large enough to hold a drop of liquid and drop of water, anything, and often indicate iron deficiency anemia. Other conditions are also there in that chylonychia can occur, but anemia is one of them. Now we discussed that evaluation of iron status is one first and basic method is hemoglobin concentration in blood. Second one is serum iron concentration is one of the method, or serum ferritin or serum transferritanin saturation. But serum ferritin is most sensitive method. If slightest amount of anemia is also there, we can diagnose it on the basis of serum ferritin. So most sensitive method is serum ferritin, and most feasible method is, so we can do it any setting, that is hemoglobin concentration. So all these are the tests for evaluation of iron saturation. Now, requirements of iron for the different age. As per the age, there is different demand of the body. This in 5 months to 12 months baby required 0.7 milligram of iron on the daily basis. Likewise, 1 year to 12 years, 1 gram of milligram of iron is required on daily needs. From 13 years to 16 years, this is the adolescent period, so more amount of iron is required, that is 1.8 for male and 2.4 for female, because female are going to menstruate also, so more requirement of iron is there, that is 2.4 on the daily basis. Adult male is required 0.9 milligram of iron on daily basis. And coming to the females, adult female or menstruating female is required 2.8 or 2.9 milligram on the daily basis. Pregnant women required 0.8 gram on the daily basis in first half of pregnancy, and in second half of pregnancy it required 3.5 milligram. Means more amount of requirement is there during menstruation and during pregnancy and during lactation also. So all these growing females and pregnant women required more amount, so they should be very conscious while taking food during all this period. And during menopause, 0.7 milligram of iron is required on the daily basis. Now coming to the nutritional anemia. Nutritional anemia is a disease syndrome caused by malnutrition. If you are not, malnutrition means deficiency of nutrition in the body. It can be micronutrition also or macronutrition also. Because of all that is all link one to the another. If you are not taking macronutrients also or micronutrients also, it directly or indirectly cause the other deficiency of vital things, and automatically all this nutritional anemia and deficiency anemia, vitamin A anemia, vitamin A deficiency, vitamin B deficiency, all directly or indirectly happen because of that. So malnutrition is one of the major cause for all the other diseases, so we have to treat malnutrition. So likewise other diseases can be automatically treated. So it has been defined by WHO that as a condition in which hemoglobin content of the blood is lower than the normal. Whatever normal standard of hemoglobin is already set, below that if hemoglobin content is present in the blood, that is called as nutritional anemia. Then as a result of deficiency of one or more essential nutrient regardless of cause of such deficiency, it's not we discussed that it's not like that ki because of only one thing that nutritional anemia occur. There is, so it is multifactorial. The social causes, social factors are also responsible, nutritional factors are also responsible for the nutritional anemia. Anemia is established as hemoglobin below the cutoff. We already discussed that. And most frequent cause of nutritional anemia is iron deficiency anemia, and less frequent is vitamin B12 deficiency or folate deficiency. If your person is vegetarian, there is more chances of vitamin B12 deficiency, and but it is not that common as iron deficiency anemia is common. So all this is about iron deficiency anemia. But why we are discussing iron deficiency anemia or nutritional anemia? Because this is the very big problem in all over the world also, and in other countries, and in especially in India, because the prevalence of nutritional anemia or anemia is very high in our country, that is, it is 60 to 80%. Let me clear first this thing. What is incidence and what is prevalence? Incidence means number of new cases of the any disease in a certain geographic area. Whatever new cases are present coming, that comes in incidence. And prevalence means whatever old cases and new cases in a certain geographic area of a certain disease, that is called as a prevalence. So in India, there is 60 to 80%, in some areas 90% also prevalence is there. So it is a major health problem which can be treated with a very minute number, with some doses of iron and folic acid. So and some awareness campaign also, or some health education. So this is a very big problem. Because of this, so many other complications are also happen during pregnancy, during lactation, during infancy, child, or during childhood also. So for that, government required to launch some program, iron deficiency anemia related program, to treat this problem, which is worldwide. Nutritional anemia is a worldwide problem which is highest prevalence in developing country. India is a developing country, so it is very huge problem in India. It is found especially in women of childbearing age, young children during pregnancy and during lactation. So means in every age group this is a problem, and it is estimated that 2/3 of pregnant and 1/3 of non-pregnant women in developing countries having this problem. And population of developed countries also, who is childbearing age, is also having 4 to 12% of prevalence of anemia. That's why this is a huge problem, and we have to treat this problem. So that most of the program are coming from the Indian government to deal with this problem. Now, status of India. Coming to the status of India, iron deficiency anemia is major nutritional health problem in India, as we already discussed. Incidence of anemia is highest among the women and young children, that is 60 to 70%. In some area it is up to 90% also. And rural India, the anemia is everywhere, means for to adolescent girls, men, women, children, everywhere, and that's why it is a very big health problem. So we can see that here 80% of Indian pregnant women are anemic due to iron deficiency. This is very common thing, that if a pregnant woman is coming to any clinic and OPD, we have to check her hemoglobin level after confirmation of pregnancy. That if she is anemic, immediately start folic acid and iron, because if in that period you didn't start that iron folic acid, then that it directly affect the infancy, that whatever baby is present in that her womb, it directly affect to that. So first thing, we have to start that calcium and iron folic acid to that pregnant woman. This is the prevalence graph showing that whatever number of percentage of prevalence of anemia in adolescent girl, that we can see that mostly 85 to 90, somewhere it is 90% also prevalences of anemia is there. This is another graph which is showing the status of pregnant women. In that also we can see that 95 to 96 or 98% women in some areas having anemia related problem during pregnancy. So it is a very big health issue in India. So iron deficiency can arise either due to inadequate intake or poor bioavailability of dietary iron, or due to excessive loss of iron from the body. And though the most habitual diet contain only a small amount of iron, which is less than 5%, it's absorbed in our body, a poor bioavailability is also considered to be a major reason for iron deficiency anemia. It's anemia is very multifactorial. If your intake is not proper, if some other infection of intestine is also there, if is there, like hookworm kind of infection, or that other irritable bowel kind of sign and symptoms are there. That is also indirectly cause for the absorption, poor absorption of iron, and excessive loss is one of the major reason, like melena, hemorrhoids, or if carcinoma or ulcer is present there, stomach ulcer, duodenal ulcer, that is also cause for the heavy loss of iron from the body. As we discussed, menstruation, malaria, hookworm infection, and repeated pregnancy without any interruption or gap between two pregnancies not there. If woman is being pregnant one after another child, then that is also one of the reason for iron deficiency, anemia, and other infection also. So many factors are there for iron deficiency anemia or nutritional anemia. That prevalence we already discussed. Now, what are the detrimental effects of anemia? Anemia is showing very bad effect on pregnancy or infection and work capacity also. In pregnancy, anemia increases the risk of mental and fetal mortality and other morbidities also. 20 to 40% of maternal death can occur due to anemia, and such a condition such as abortion, premature birth, and postpartum hemorrhage, PPH, postpartum hemorrhage, or low birth weight babies can occur because of anemia. All these are the causes of anemia which directly or indirectly affect the baby and mother. In that, abortion are very common. Threatened abortion, premature births, and PPH, postpartum hemorrhage, are very common, and because of all this, maternal deaths are going to rise up because of anemia. In infection also, because of anemia, malaria, parasitic infection, and other deficiency because of other deficiency, our immune system going to deteriorate, and that is the opportunity for other infective organism to reside in the body and cause other infections. So it is indirect effect of anemia on the body. So this is indirect effect. And whatever work capacity because of anemia is tremendously deteriorate in that. So there is significant impairment of work capacity. More severe anemia, the greater reduction of work performance, and thereby whatever production is it ultimately has to hamper, and it is a great significance to on the economy, because work capacity deteriorate, it directly affect the production, and ultimately the directly affect to the economy. So work capacities also we can build up if we treat the anemia. That is the indirect effect of anemia, and with the simple intervention we can deal the anemia, like for severe anemic patient we can give blood transfusion or intravenous hemoglobin. Blood transfusion is the last measure that we can deal with the to restore the hemoglobin level in the mother, or to adolescent, or to any patient. But oral or intravenous route we can prefer. Most preferably oral route is there, which can easily followed by patient. So iron folic acid supplementation is there, which is for that major programs going on in India. The government has sponsored the National Nutritional Anemia Prophylaxis Program. In this program, daily supplementation, or nowadays they are started weekly supplementation of iron and folic acid to prevent the mild and moderate cases of anemia. And the beneficiaries are at risk group, that is pregnant, lactating or adolescent women, girls are there or children are there. They are the beneficiary of the program. What is the eligibility criteria? Who uh, whoever patient is coming to our OPD, that comes under the eligibility criteria, who diagnosed with the anemia, that we can treat with the folic acid iron folic acid injection or iron folic acid tablet. Dosage for one tablet of iron and folic acid contain 100 milligram of elementary iron on 0.5 milligram of folic acid. That is very well sufficient to treat anemia for 100 days. If you are taking this medication for continuously for 100 days, your hemoglobin level can be come to the normal if you don't have any other morbidities. If worm infestation is there, other problem is there, other infection is there, we have to treat that other infection first, then we have to start this dose side by side, we have to start this dosage. Then by the time after 3 or 4 months, it will take to come to the normal level. And it is necessary that estimation of hemoglobin is repeated at the monthly interval. It's not like that ki once we have started this tablet, we have to be routinely check this your hemoglobin level, and we have to take repeat it monthly at monthly interval also. Childhood dosage. One tablet of iron and folic acid contain 20 milligram of elementary iron and 0.1 milligram of folic acid. That is sufficient for the children. This treatment is also for 3 months, 2 to 3 months, for minimum 100 days. And iron fortification, like iodine fortification, WHO expert initially they didn't recommend iron fortification, but after testing with by other laboratory in India like INA Hyderabad, show that simple addition of ferric orthophosphate or ferrous sulfate with the sodium biphosphate, it is enough to fortify salt with the iron. That minor fortification in the salt, that we can treat the iron anemia. So after that India has started iron fortification with iodine fortification in salt also. We can do it in oil also if possible. Then we can do in other substance in other possible food products also. When consumed after fortification, it's not like that ki it is present in that amount only. If we store that salt for longer duration, then and in which is not in proper condition, that whatever fortification amount of iron is present in salt, that deteriorate timely. So when we have to take it, we have to store it in proper way, and we have to consume it in proper way to deal with the prevalence of anemia. Fortification of salt with iron has been accepted by Indian government after all the research, and that is that helped for reduction of anemia. Commercial product of iron fortification and salt was started in 1985. Iron fortification has many advantages over iron supplementation, as salt is a universal consumed dietary item. So that's why they have chosen salt as a fortified product. And it's not required any delivery system also. So fortification of iron is very easy method to deal with iron, but that is not at all sufficient. If a patient is having a moderate or severe anemia, they have to treat with iron and folic acid tablet. Other strategies are, we have to change our dietary habits. Means it's not like we are taking only one type of diet or one type of oil. We have to repeatedly change our dietary pattern. All food components should include in our dietary habits. we have to control our infection like parasitic infection, and awareness and nutritional education we have to give to the common person, so that they can easily understand ki whatever basic need of our body and how we can deal with that and what food we have to take. All these strategies have done by the we have to follow to tackle with iron deficiency or nutritional deficiency anemia. So all this is about the anemia, iron, nutritional anemia and iron deficiency anemia. In next lecture we will discuss some other topic. Thank you.